Well, good afternoon, First Baptist Church. Welcome to the Monday blog. We've been going through the book of Jonah. I'm going to do something a little bit different here as we tackle chapter 2, starting at verse 8 through 10. Let me share my screen. And what we're going to do a little bit different here is we're going to look at the English of verse 8, and we're also going to look at the Hebrew of verse 8, because it's kind of some hard text to really understand. It says right here, those who pay regard to vain idols forsake their hope of steadfast love. Now, if we don't understand what this steadfast love means, we don't really get the whole concept of what it means to forsake something. So let's look at this a little bit deeper. If we look at the Hebrew, you're going to see that there's 5 words compared to the 13 words that are in the English. And that's because Hebrew uses suffixes and prefixes. And so we're going to start tying this together. This first word is an M or an M sound that it makes. And that really is just saying those. And this next word is shamir. And that means to pay regard or to keep or to partake of. So these people, those who partake of this next word here, this im, just basically makes it a plurality, a masculine plural word. And this next word here is havel, which is idols. And you see this little line here that ties it in with this shav, which means vanity. So this vain idols, when you partake of vain idols, when you worship vain idols, you're going to miss out on something. And so what are you going to miss out on? If we go back to the English, this second line, which is only 2 words here in the Hebrew. But if you look at the end, this is the word they or their. And so we see that their forsake is this word right here, which is azav, which means to forsake. You're giving up. You're giving away this chesed, or in this star it's hadam, but it's the plurality of this word, or you adding the suffixes and the prefixes in it so you understand it as a whole word. And you all know what hesed means. It's this word that can only be described to who God is. It's this loyalty, this joint obligations. It's godly action. It's faithfulness, goodness, kindness. It's all these characteristics wrapped up into one word. And if you miss out on it, you miss out on all of it. You see, because I believe this steadfast love is more like the grace or even the salvation of the Lord. When you're tied into these idols, you miss out on everything. But there's an answer. You see it in the next verse. But I, Jonah, with the voice of thanksgiving. Is that what you guys are? Are you so thankful that you have been saved, that you are God's, that you have his grace, that you aren't tied in to these idols? Right? That you'll sacrifice to him. And what does that mean? That sacrifice that I will pay, right? The sacrifice means that you're paying something to God. You're giving something to God. You're giving something up. In return, you receive salvation. Because salvation can only belong to the Lord. Only he can give it away. And right now, Jonah is recognizing this. He's recognizing that only God can give this away. And as he recognized that, what happens? The Lord spoke to the fish, and it vomited Jonah upon the dry land. Right? God knew he was going to do this, so he's transporting him back to the dry land so that the fish can actually spew him out onto the land. And now Jonah knows, you know what? I'm going to pay the price. I mean, I've already been paying it in this fish, but I'm going to pay the price as I go to Nineveh to share who Christ is, regardless if I lose my life. I know that my job, God is designing me to go and do this, and it's worth it. Salvation is worth it, and it should always be worth it as we share who Jesus Christ is with anybody who listens, as we have thanksgiving in our heart for who God is in our life. So thank you for tuning in today, and I'll see you guys next week.